pioneering. So join me as we go and expose all of their lies. Wow, what a ride. Here we go. I see the watchtower coming up. We're going to crash into the boardroom. Hang on. Wow, I made it. So, brothers, we are here to expose all of the lies. So let's get to it. We're going to start with Stephen Ladd. Join me and subscribe, and we will take you on a ride to the Watchtower Expose. See you there. There. Welcome to the Saturday Sex Show. And I hope you enjoyed our intro. It was a little bit cold out there, so I had my jacket on. And that's what I was just saying there, to get rid of the clothes. And yeah, so on this channel, we are going to crash the Watchtower. And that's what we're going to do. We have a lot of help. We're not doing it ourselves. I'm merely just another one of those puppets out there proclaiming some of the most bizarre things lately. You know, I was going to look at some of the videos we were working on this week. And let me see here. There we go. So yeah, I was looking at some of the videos we were doing this week. We got some good comments off them. So last week we covered the Anunnaki, and we read the comments at our JW Night talk on this. We had some really good comments. Some of the audience wants to know more about some of these fringe sects. This is what this is, a Saturday sect show. So these are kind of like sects. It's hard to say it properly in English. Anyways, you know what I'm getting at. These are kind of little religions, real little groups, or large groups actually. There's huge followings toward the Anunnaki and really understanding the ancient Sumerians. I did some research into Gaia. And I shared this on my channel. You can't do that because that was earlier on, and I found out that they copyright everything. So everybody that watched that video, they got paid for it because I just said give them. They were okay with it, but then they wanted the monetization, so it's fine, you know. So anyways, we still didn't get a contract, but nothing really beats Pepsi when you're talking and public speaking. I wish when we were doing Kingdom Hall stuff, you know, you could just take a Pepsi on the stage and carry on. No, the other thing I like is well water. You notice, I didn't realize this, but this thing is invisible on the green screen. Can you see it? I can drink out of it. It's like invisible. It's almost green, this bottle. It's kind of a blue-green. Can you see it on the green screen? Yeah, kind of, eh? There, over here. I was holding it the wrong way. Interesting. I found out that my lights were not really the problem. I was wearing a big blue shirt. Too much blue in contrast with the green, so my face is not giving that light refraction. So I'm learning as I'm, you know, we do these channels, we don't have any training. There's no school you go to. You just kind of get up and figure it out as we go. Now, one of the videos that really brought a lot of attention to some of our viewers is Jesus is not worshipped by JW.org. Jehovah's Witnesses JW.org disfellowship you for worship of Jesus. I did not know that. This was brand new news to me, and I learned this last Sunday. I was listening to I think it's Jay Hess, I'm not sure. My wife will correct everyone online, the guy that I was listening to on Rick Farron's channel. But I was listening to Jay Hess for the matter. He's the Christian. And then the other guy is Scott, I think. He's Disciples of Yahweh. So I listened to both of them. Very, very smart ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, if you want to learn more of the deeper things. And they like to get questions in. And they're very good about answering the questions. So anyways, Jay was expressing, I couldn't believe this. He says he got disfellowshipped for worshiping Jesus. I was beside myself, and so I started to research this, and sure enough, I went into JW Facts, and they listed it out beautifully. I put it in this video right here, this video here. So if you haven't watched it, that was just an eye-opener for me. It blew my mind. And I thought, as a Jehovah's Witness, I was for 30 years. I thought we worshiped Jesus with the memorial every year, and I thought we were Christian. But Jay woke me up to that, and we had a lot of comments on our channel. And I don't know who's online yet. I'm just going to come and look, see who's online. So we will say hi to who's online here. Hello to SDR, Jane Spitfire, Nike. Hello, Nike. I haven't seen you here before. And my wife says it was Jay Hess. Yes. And Jane Nike. Yeah. Okay. So who else do we have online? Mimi. Hello, Mimi. Thanks for joining us today. Blue Rose and Roger Lane. So we have quite a few that are interested in this astrological sect that we're going to talk. That's up next. But before I was going to wait see if Gilbert showed up, but I'm going to give Gilbert a little plug here, and I'll give it to him twice if he shows up. But Gilbert did this video, and it's right here. You go into his videos. It was just done 16 hours ago, and he also reaffirmed that. What is it here? What's his thumbnail say? Jehovah's Witnesses will disfellowship you for worshiping Jesus. Imagine that. But if you are a pedophile, well, that's okay. We love Gilbert. So anyways, that's a good video. And the one thing that I noticed in this video, Gilbert was smiling a lot. When he was talking about Jesus, there was a lot of smiles coming from Gilbert. So that's a must watch. And who else? We're building up next week. If you on Tuesday, if you watch our channel, we're gonna take a look at Jessica Connor, PhD, and we showed one of her videos on the law of attraction. And we've been communicating with Jessica by email, and she's very prompt, very good email, and she emails like within a half hour almost. Very professional. And you can tell she's a doctor, and she's promoting and helping people like you and I. People that are coming out of cults and want to understand how in the world did we get brainwashed. So she just put out one of her recent videos, and I've asked for permission. It's so well done. I've asked for permission to use it, and she's granted me permission. And I'm going to use it on my live on Tuesday coming up. And this is how you've been programmed not to think. It's her second most recent video. I've watched a few of her videos. They're all very good. But this one I do want to share with our community on JW Night Talk. Because Night Talk, we've been talking a lot about the brain and what constant fear is doing to us. And we think of the 2023 assembly program, live your life with patience, or exercise patience is what they're saying. What they're saying is exercise patience for the governing body, because they're going to lead you out of this all. That's what they're trying to say in that district convention. And they're doing that to keep people inside the organization, trapped, and to keep their mind shallow. And this video on Tuesday is it's going to blow your mind. It's going to show you how simple it is to program someone. So if you want to get a head jump on me, you can go to the channel. I recommend you go to the channel. Always go to the channel. Jessica here has done a wonderful job building her channel. She's got about 1,000 subscribers. She's got close to 600 videos. She has books. And I've also signed up, and she's doing this free, to her master class because I was so interested in learning more about the brain and sharing that. And just for my own purposes, I want to know how I was programmed. So I signed up to her master class, and don't be afraid of it. It's quite interesting. She sends you a lot of emails, and it's part of the master class. I'm still working on it, but it's free. Just sign up, put your email in. She's out there to help people like you and I. So I think it's wonderful. Keep up the good work, Jessica. Now we're going to move along. We're going to talk about the Watchtower Help Club. I don't know if we'll have time for this on this program. I'm going to leave this for the end. You guys as the audience can tell me if you have time for this. It's a very interesting article on Does God Exist? I think it's worth a program all of its own. This is how long it is. So I think we might save that maybe for next week or something. And we'll examine Watchtower Help Club and see how they develop that outline. I look at these as outlines. You remember Watchtower Help Club, they were on the working at Bethel. Now Watchtower Help Club emailed me just recently, and he said that he is putting out a new series of videos. I think tonight. My good wife will tell you guys the time. He's putting out a new series, and it's Sophie and Caleb. It's a whole series. It's a real life series, and it's about divorcing going on in the family and things like that, like real life stuff. So here's a guy that's come out of the Watchtower, and by the way, this guy has identified himself and wants me to share this with you guys on the channel. He said just call him Frank. Frank is what he said to call him. And I should read the email, but I can't. Let me see. How do I do that? Okay, I can. And I'm still on here, so I'm going to go back. Oops. No, you've seen that already. Okay, so I can read the email here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go in here and open up my email. And then I should be able to see it. Oh yeah, here it is, from Watchtower Help Club. He says, Hi Vern, I'm launching a new series of animated videos on Saturday called JW Reality TV. Can you believe that, guys? So we want to, if you haven't subscribed to the Watchtower Help Club, please subscribe. And he's going to be premiering this series. We want to share this with our whole XJW community. This is wonderful. JW Reality TV based on Caleb and Sophie. He says there will be 2 or more episodes released on the following 2 Saturdays. It's about the real Caleb and Sophie family, where only the dad has become a JW and the wife is now opposed, and they're fighting over custody of the kids. Caleb and Sapho, the dad insists on having Bible studies with the kids. The mom agrees, but has one rule. So the mom agrees to the Bible study, but has one rule. Guess what it is? No Watchtower publications, just the Bible. So the dad then struggles to answer the kids' questions as they start with the first verse of Genesis. There's also a subplot centering on divorce and the 2-witness rule. Actually, several issues are touched upon. And if this is anything like any of the other videos, it's going to be fabulous. I can't wait. Frank? Frank says, I hope you find it of interest. It is scheduled to launch at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we just got this email hot off the press. He says, P.S. Frank Lee Annan is a pseudonym meaning frankly anonymous. But you can refer to me as Frank on your channel if you like. Cheers. cheers to Frank. So we're looking forward to this, Frank. I'm going to get off my email here. And thanks for keeping us up to date. Now, if you're a video creator and you want to host and work with Frank, just email him. I think Frank would love to get his stuff out. Frank is anonymous. Frank is working in the background. And we're going to go back here to display in camera. So Frank is the Watchtower Help Club. Frank has worked in Bethel with the Watchtower. And Frank has challenged the Watchtower on their beliefs while he was in Bethel. And I got to find that story. Frank, if you're watching, just tell us so I can find the quick article to that. I thought it was an interesting story. Or if it's something that you just gave to me, fine. But if you want to share that on this channel, I'd love to share it for you. Now, I think it's powerful that Frank does not identify himself. I think the Watchtower hates that stuff. They want to know who's behind the scenes creating Caleb and Sophie models. So let's see where this all goes, Frank. Keep up the good work. We love your channel, and we are going to keep promoting your channel. Now, I'm going to move on. We covered, oh yeah. Now this one here, there's a video I did. I could blow it up. It's this one here. I'm pointing at it up here. And if you can't see it, it says, "These prophets shall die." Now, it's a pretty strong thumbnail. I showed Stephen Lett's face and Splain and Loesch. And I say, J.W. Org's false prophets. What does the Bible say? So we got into Deuteronomy. We just read the scriptures. That's all we did here. And it's quite obvious that J.W. Org is false prophets. Anytime you're throwing out prophecy, like you're saying the end's coming on such and such a day, like they even went on to say it was going to be in the fall of 1914. So they were even dictating the season. And when Jesus says, no one knows the hour or the day. And then we find out here, 1954, NOR got rid of the charter where Jesus was in it. No more Jesus in the organization. And they feel that it's idolatrous. They even said that in one of the articles. We covered that. Now, I want to show you guys a comment that came in, and I might need your help on this because I don't have all the answers, and I never claimed to have any of the answers on this channel. I'm just fixing my faith. I'm sharing this channel with everyone as I go. Hopefully, my kids will read it someday. Now, this is good. Here's a fella, and for most of the people online, we don't know as creators. We go and link in, and we have checked their site out. Well, no, it says nothing on the site, so we don't know anything about anybody. But we get these comments. So here's the comment I want to share. It says, "Please clarify, what do you mean by worship Jesus? In my research of the word worship, there are 3 Hebrew and 7 Greek words for the word worship, some of which mean merely to give homage, kiss the hand, expression of respect also." And he says also, there are many other ways of bowing, from a standing bow of the head to the kneeling bow with the forehead meeting the ground. In some places, subjects better bow or off with the head. So again, what do you mean by worship Jesus, especially when he says to Satan to worship only God? And we know that Jesus said that. He told Satan that, only worship God. So he says, I think that's pretty clear. If that's the kind of worship you're speaking of, kind of merges into dual worship, then slipping off the edge into unbiblical teachings. So how do you reply to that? I wasn't sure. But I guess my reply is, I said to him, so then you're saying it's idolatrous to worship Jesus? Like tell me, be clear about it. Now, for me to come out of my mouth and say it's idolatrous to worship Jesus, I can't say that. Because I know Jesus is a God. He is a God. Jehovah, if you want to call it Jehovah, but that's only Jehovah's Witnesses' name for God. On this channel, God's name is Yahweh, or the biblical God's name. Now, on this channel, if you're watching the Sex Saturday show and you're watching the Anunnaki and you're going to watch this next show that's coming up, Well, God could be a pantheon of gods. And if we follow the lineages, it does appear that Yahweh was a storm god, if you follow it through. But then even Sitchin himself, that wrote about the Anunnaki, he even went on to say in his book that Yahweh, he believes, was the divine, the maker of everything, Yahweh. And that Jesus was the one, was Enki or something? Enki, and then there's Enkel, or I don't know. I don't follow this stuff close enough. I watch a few videos and I think it'd be cool to share it because it helps you and I scratch our record. Scratch that JW story, that fictional story that we were taught to be true. Because really, no one on this earth really knows what's true, factual. I don't think anybody can stand up and say this is the absolute truth. I don't think anybody has that authority. Maybe Jesus, if he was superhuman, like the Bible says he was. So we're going on the assumption, for the most part on this channel, that we're going to take the Bible. It's an ex-JW channel. We came out of the JW religion. They use the Bible. I'm going to use the silver bullet when I can, and I'm going to use the other Bibles too. And I don't think there's anything wrong with using the Bible, even if there is a pantheon or there's this or there's that. At the end of the day, the Jesus that I read about in the Bible, if we look at Colossians 1 and verse 15, and I'm not going to look at that, wasn't the program today, but if you look at that, it says Jesus was the firstborn of all creation, and it says through him, through Jesus. So here's the firstborn. Through Jesus, everything else came about. So that would mean that the God of the universe put Jesus in charge of the planet. And through Jesus, everything happened. So that would mean, like I was watching the Anunnaki video, that Jesus, the God, Enki, came across the Noah's Ark, the boat, with all the DNA. It makes sense. Here's Jesus with all the DNA. Brought that all and got them all started in the new world. Now Noah's Ark starts to make sense. So I don't think there's anything wrong with mixing a bunch of this stuff together. Now, this guy here that commented would probably call me blasphemous for mixing stuff together. But this guy does not identify himself, and he does not know the truth. There's one episode where Jesus told Satan to worship God. Well, why would Jesus tell Satan to worship me? You see, then they got a little bit of a game going on because Satan's powerful. You see, Satan's as powerful as Jesus in some senses. Very powerful. Satan wanted to destroy mankind. We've seen that in the Anunnaki movie. Jesus said, no, I'm going to save mankind. So Jesus kind of went out of his way, went on his own limb and saved mankind. Jesus is our God. I don't care how you look at it. But I don't think we're going to get struck down if we worship Jesus. Now, worship's a strong word, right? No, I don't think it is. Let's look it up. Worship. We're going to type it in here, and I did it in the house, and I didn't do it out here, but it takes 2 seconds. Worship. What does the word worship mean? So the dictionary word for worship means the feeling or expression of reverence and adoration for a deity. That's what the dictionary says. The verb of it shows reverence and adoration for a deity, honor the religious rites. So then, what is the true meaning of worship? What's the biblical meaning of worship? Well, the most common word for worship literally means bend over. You ever hear that? Bend over. I've heard that. Probably not in this context. So anyways, the most common word for the word worship literally means bend over or bow down. And it describes a gesture of respect or submission to human beings, to God, or to idols. So the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I don't care who you are, you're this guy that's commenting on this channel, they're saying bend over and worship them, bow down, worship them. If you don't bend over or bow down to them, you're out. if you worship Jesus, they disfellowship you. And we've had so many comments, and I think we got to keep this information going. In fact, I seen a smile on Gilbert's face as he talked about Jesus in this way. Jesus' name is getting usurped. And Jehovah's Witnesses are doing it worldwide. They don't even know they're doing it. So anyways, we got a little bit out of worship. Worship means worshiping men. And we got to be careful who we worship. But if you're worshiping a supreme being, Jesus, you're not going to go wrong. Because I, on this channel, worship Jesus. Live your life with love. Isn't that what Jesus is? That's Jesus. Jesus is the preceptor of that mentality. It's quite simple. Gilbert talks about it as the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm not sure if that's how he says it, but it's on his channel. So we're going to move forward here. So DAR 3375, unless anybody else has comments, let's look at the live. Live chat, I'm looking at you guys here. Anybody have any comments on anything? Because I can certainly share them. Nice, thanks for joining us, cool woman. And we appreciate having you and supporting our channel. Now, Sherry D's on. She really knows a lot about Yahweh, and she knows how the Jehovah's Witnesses have really twisted that word, if you ever want to get into a good discussion. Now, I'm going to carry on in the program. We're going to move forward here to Kinsmen Academy, and this is the thumbnail. We want to give on these, I tried to email her. She has, and I don't know if it's, I think it's a her because it's a woman's voice, and she's from Australia. And I checked out about her channel. Now it says welcome and subscribed, and that's all it says. You cannot get a hold of her, but it does say Australia. And she started the channel in 2020. Now we go back to her videos, and so the video I was going to share with you is one of her, which one is it here? It's right here. Now, the reason this video attracted interest to me because it's a Canadian interview. This had to do with Canada. And I was curious because I don't know if you guys knew, but over Canada here, there was some unidentified flying object over top of the Great Lakes. And the Canadian military gave them permission to shoot it out of the sky, and they did. So I wanted to know what's going on with this Canadian interview. So I'm going to share this with you. Now, I went on to, in all fairness, I don't know much about this channel, Kinsmen Academy. Now, I watched a few of the videos, and I went to look more about this. The Galactic Federation, the Ray Contact Introduction. Ray is part of a confederation of light, or a galactic federation of planets. The Galactic Federation is often channeled telepathically. So if you're getting any telepathic messages, I don't know if I should wink or when I say this, I'm not sure. But I don't want to make fun of stuff. Like, how do we know? I believe the JW stuff was real for 30 years. I could see how someone could believe this because there's so many sightings, right? But I was interested in the what was going on over Canada. Now, I looked even further, and I wanted to look, I got a link up, and it said a message to humanity from the Ground Crew Project. I read the first line and then didn't read much more. It says, you have been specially chosen to be part of a divine experiment in creation. That's as far as I got. Then I went to the next one, the Law of One, and because this Ray is the Law of One. And so I wanted to look into that and the search results for the Galactic Federation of Light. So then it explains these numbers, and it gets into all these numbers and stuff. And then it says the questionnaire, thank you. I was wondering if any of the other planets had metaphysical evolution. You stated yesterday that much is blah, blah, blah. So then the next thing that comes up is R.A. I am Ray. Well, Ray, I think, is a god, I think. This is incorrect, Ray says, the god. So the guy wanted to know how many stars were. Well, Ray couldn't give an accurate answer. Ray says there's lots. Well, I could say there's lots. So I don't know if this is some kind of a game that we're dealing with or what, but it looks real. So then I went into the Kinsmen Academy and I wanted to research that. I got Kinsmen Sports Center of Edmonton. I got Edmonton Triathlon Academy, Kinsmen. Kinsmen is a group that supports, there's a Kinsmen Club in Edmonton, in our city, and they support all kinds of stuff. They support like this triathlon. You know, they'll support different things. I think they're like a charity, Kinsmen. And then there's a Kinsmen Children's Academy for Early Learning, and it says this is the Lutheran Church. So I'm at a bit of a loss. That's as far as I could get in my searches on this stuff. So here we go. Let's go for the ride. And I'm going to put this on. I'm going to turn my desktop off and I'm going to disappear. So please enjoy the show. Here we go.
The Galactic Federation, also called the Galactic Federation of Light, the Confederation of Planets, the Interstellar Alliance, the Sphere Being Alliance, or the Galactic Federation of Worlds, is a cooperation of space-traveling civilizations in our Milky Way galaxy and beyond. The Federation consists of hundreds of thousands of members and was founded millions of years ago, after a series of wars in the Lyra constellation. The hierarchy between members is usually determined by their spiritual development. The most highly evolved members are beautiful light beings who voice the will of God. Its members are also part of the Brotherhood of Light, such as Thoth, the Atlantean, and the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, recording the building of the pyramids after the biblical world deluge that flooded the historical antediluvian world of Atlantis. On December 10th in the year 2020, retired Israeli General Chaim Eshed disclosed the United States and Israeli contact continuing with the Galactic Federation. This disclosure was revealed and shared on various official news stations and social media groups around the world. It is now a global knowledge and realization. After 30 years at the helm of the Israeli space security program, retired Israeli general and respected awarded professor has now unveiled that yes, there are aliens among us, and Israel has made contact with them. However, the Galactic Federation has warned at the pace of the disclosure in preparation for all of humanity to be ready for this information. The General has revealed that the Galactic Federation operates an underground base on the planet Mars, where American and alien representatives are present. Former American President Donald Trump was aware of the alien existence, however was advised not to disclose the information to avoid mass hysteria and panic here on Earth. Humanity is said to have a long way to grow before we can understand the gravity of their presence. The Honourable Paul Hellyer is the longest-standing former Canadian Minister of Defence and Transport, received a telephone call from his nephew immediately after the news. The minister then immediately made contact with the Israeli general regarding the disclosure on the Galactic Federation to personally hear his voice on the matter and hear directly what he had to say. Paul Hellyer had previously met the Israeli general in person, so he was personally aware who the retired general was, who had declared the galactic presence and alliances. Chaim Eshed is a former Israeli space chief whose work was with the US and Israel as part of the Galactic Federation. Before Hellyer could greet the general to say hello, how are you, the former Israeli official's first words to the former minister were, "Every word is true and more." These were his opening words to their phone call conversation. He then spent 20 minutes discussing further details with the former Canadian minister within the limits of his oath, and went as far as he could within the confines of this limitation. The most important thing he said during that period was that there have been face-to-face meetings between the United States officials and visitors from other star systems, period. With that assurance and Paul Hellyer's own conviction based on what has transpired and what he already knew, he agreed to go to a public meeting to declare that UFOs are real as their airplanes flying overhead, and stated this at the meeting. Recorded in previous interviews, Hellyer has disclosed that UFOs are real and that there is a federation of alien species in communication with our own. He states that he is only aware of the members of the Galactic Federation, and of this he is not aware of most things, and so will refrain from speaking further on the issue. However, in this interview, it is also mentioned that there may be warring civilizations. However, the information is not known by the official in depth to disclose. The Galactic Federation is concerned for what is going on in the world, and they have been working through individuals to communicate. Members of the Galactic Federation have been selecting adept individuals to make contact with, both in private and in personal meditations, to speak to them telepathically or send information to these individuals via channeling. Individual members of the human race are chosen most often telepathically for communication with the Galactic Federation so as not to violate the protection of the planet's quarantine, which is protected from outside influence beyond the natural human level of evolution. However, Hellier states that there may also be a loophole in this agreement where if things get bad enough, that there will be exceptions made to this communication. Though it is important to understand, says Hellier, that we cannot count on the extraterrestrial species to save us, and it is only a possibility that we may be able to count on them to assist us in our own evolution of the planet. Hellier advises that ideally we should not be counting on outside forces, as we must come to our own advanced level to clean up our act and take care of the planet. The human race is in charge of planet Earth, and if it comes to a dead end, it will be because we let it or made it a dead end, because it was not necessary. It is seen by the universe that we have everything going for us, and one of the best planets in the galaxy, a planet that everybody covets for the fact that it is so good, but unfortunately we have been destroying it. This is something the Galactic Federation have tried to let us know in various ways and various forms of communication for improvement, progress, and enlightenment over a long period of time. There are things we have to do and things we have to stop doing. We must employ free energy and stop using fossil fuels, as this technology has been available to us but deprived to us and destroyed our planet. We must start using these better ways, and they must be made available to us because they are available to us. Dr. Chaim Eshed, who shared this knowledge with the world, is a professor of aeronautics and astronautics, a veteran pilot and flight instructor, a member of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, and co-founder of the Israeli Space Agency and Space Research Institute in the Technion Israel Institute of Technology. Eshed served as the head of Israel's space security program for 3 decades. During that time, he was privy to government secrets, including an alliance between the United States, Israel, and the Galactic Federation, who he says have been waiting for humanity to evolve and reach a stage where we will generally understand what space and spaceships are. The news was first translated to English by the Jewish press, with several mainstream English media organizations, including Forbes, NBC News, and Global News, quickly disseminating the information around the world. The Galactic Federation seeks to resolve galactic conflicts in a peaceful way. Every inhabited galaxy in our universe has an interdimensional federation, but ours is one of the eldest. If needed, interdimensional intelligence may intervene in any place where conflicts impend. Interdimensional technologies are at a high level for us to perceive or comprehend. For example, the creation and communication of information via crop circles, or small orbs and energy becoming visible and dematerializing. Some ships are said to be self-efficient and self-contained, some as large as planets, producing their own sustainable ecosystems, sustaining life and vegan food sources via fruits and vegetables. Hierarchy between members is determined by spiritual development. However, there is also an underlying philosophy of oneness and equality. At this moment, a considerable part of the Galactic Federation is present around the Earth to bring the tumultuous end of our cycle of duality through a peaceful transition of higher consciousness. Although our whole universe ascends, the ascension of the Earth is recognized as distinctly different and unique in their struggles of ascension. Earth is considered home to many places in the universe, with continuous arrivals and departures of all kinds that use hyperspace and stargates like the Sun, as well as incarnations and human embodiments. The Galactic Federation continues to monitor the Earth and ensure that no species with less than friendly intentions can occupy or visit the Earth. Since the population on Earth is human, the human civilizations within the Galactic Federation play an important role in the assistance with our ascension process. To this group belong, for example, the Palladians, the Syrians, and the Arcturians. However, some sources say that about 40% of the Galactic Federation is human, and the rest consist of other species, spiritual beings, light beings, and ascended masters. Many of them share a genetic link with us, but are more highly developed than we are. They have visited our planet for millions of years and left behind many souvenirs such as buildings and art objects, although many of them have been made by alien visitors who are not part of the Galactic Federation. This historical link with extraterrestrials is hidden as much as possible by mainstream science, which is said to be under the authority of the Illuminati, whose name may be extending back to the biblical time of the land of Shinar, which was known as the land of the Shining Ones or the land of the Illuminated, who have been recorded to withhold high levels of spiritual knowledge and intelligence from a striving population of the masses, where the story of the Tower of Babel originated and has been misconstrued to support a notion of preferred ignorance and suppression. This suppression of spiritual knowledge was lifted in the event of the Pentecost, when the followers of Jesus received the abilities to once again speak and understand the Enochian languages of the angels and the Elohim and the gods from the pre-Diluvian era.
Well, amazing, eh? What do you... Here, I'm going to turn that off. Okay. So, it's interesting stuff. I was curious to what you guys thought. So I'm looking back at the comments. Yeah, lose everything. Okay, so you guys are having a comment. Any comments on this show yet? Angel Speak. Sherry. So Sherry, Angels Speak Hebrew. So I thought of Sherry when I was listening to some of this, because according to this stuff, and again, there's no other references. You know, they showed all these communications between Israel, the U.S., and Canada, but you know, it'd be cool if they had some clips that could prove it. But these are just words, right? So you have to do your own research. I want to show you one more video from this site. I thought it was interesting. Again, I'm going to take you to this site. Where are we? Yeah, Kinsmen Academy. So this is the site you want to check out. Kinsmen Academy. I'm sure this lady would like some subscribers. She has 18 videos and only 285 subscribers. Well, it takes a long time to get 285 subscribers. It's a lot of work. I've been there. So if you're interested in this, I recommend you go to this site, Kinsmen Academy, and watch your videos. Now, I want to watch one more video if you guys find this interesting. And I watched the Galaxy Federation. This is the one we just watched. But the first one is the RA Contact channel. And it gives us kind of a basis for what this thing's about. And then there's another one that's the New Earth. You know, now it's starting to sound like Rutherford and Russell. And perhaps, you know, if you open your mind, now just excuse me for a second. I got to clear my throat. Back. Now, supposing, you know, the Bible and everything's here, we're getting to this point for a reason. We're at this point in history. We can't change the past, but we are learning within our minds we can create a new future for ourselves. And if we are all creating the same kind of future, this is the JW concept, But it's true in our minds. If we're all creating the same kind of future, we're trying to help people, we're trying to clean up the earth. Maybe we go out and help plant a tree or two. You know, I was a JW for 30 years. I destroyed a lot of trees with all the literature that I peddled at door to door. So it wouldn't hurt me to get out and plant a tree or two to undo some of that damage. But let's say we're all doing this, and we're all doing it collectively. If the earth is like a ball of jello and we're all on the earth, and when we jump up and down, the whole earth jiggles. Well, if we're all jumping up and down to the same tune, pretty soon the whole earth will be vibrating the same frequency. And the frequency is love. That is the underlying message that I see through everything that I've seen so far. Now, this here, let's go to the very first video here that they made. And we'll go to the camera here. And I'm going to...
Ra is part of the Confederation of Light, or Galactic Federation of Planets. The Galactic Federation is often channeled telepathically by humans on our planet. This is a summary of the Ra Contact, Teaching the Law of One, written by Don Elkins, Carla Ruckert, and James Allen McCarty, which was first published on the 28th of February 2018. The audiobook is available on Audible, but is nearly 16 hours long, so here is a summarized version. The work began in 1968 by a group called Love and Light Research. Carla served as the instrument for the Ra Contact as the channeler for this channeled communication. The pathways to knowledge and to human perfection are as numerous as the stars. Each of us must reach our own conclusions. The cosmic landscape is staggering in its scope. From January 15th, 1981 to March 15th, 1984, Don, Carla and James received these messages from a civilization of extraterrestrial beings who identify themselves as Ra. Over the 3-year period, this contact conveyed the law of one and metaphysical reality. In Earth's ancient history, Ra is known as the Egyptian god of the sun. Earth is currently ending on a 75,000-year cycle of a master evolution. Many of this population are ready to graduate to the next evolutionary stage, the 4th density of love and understanding. The Ra group is a social memory complex from the 6th density consisting of 6.5 million entities. We are messengers of the law of unity. In truth, there is no right or wrong. There is no polarity. All is reconciled in the dance of the mind-body-spirit complex. Every being is everything, every emotion, every event, every situation. You are infinity. The one infinite creator is within us all and in everything, everywhere. There is nothing that is not the creator and nothing that exists outside of this underlying unity. It all exists for the purpose of exploring and knowing itself. The intelligent infinity brings out of itself all things, including dark and light, love and fear. It is all things, all experience, real and imagined, as the Creator endlessly comes to know itself by every choice made by every being in creation. Earth is currently approaching the end of the 3rd density cycle. We are moving towards a new age or harvest. The 5th density is wisdom. The 6th density is balance. The 7th is the destiny of foreverness. The 8th is oneness. When serving as an instrument to Ra, Carla goes completely unconscious. The seeker seeks the one. As we strengthen our will to seek the truth, we will surely find our true nature, aware of both its distortions and total perfection. Resting in this balanced awareness, we open ourselves to the universe which we are. You are the truth that you seek. No message or philosophy could ever substitute for who you are. The one infinite creator is in yourself, in your friends and family, and in the world around you. The Confederation of Planets, in the service of the one infinite creator, has only one important statement. That statement, my friends, is all things, all of life, all of the creation, is one original thought. You are dancing thoughts. You move your body, you move your mind, you move your spirit. The contact is felt as a vibration entering the aura. We are one. That is our nature and our purpose. We are not a part of time and thus able to be with you in any of your times. We are not of the density of love or the light, but of the law of one. Since it contains all, it cannot abhor any. The universe is infinite. There is no end to yourselves or your journey of understanding or seeking or your perceptions of the creation. In one infinite creator there can only be unity and nothing outside of it. The prism showing all the colours of the light is a simple example. There is no right or wrong and no polarity, for all will be reconciled at some point in your dance through the mind-body-spirit complex. You are everything, every being. You are the unity. The distinction between yourself and others is not visible to us. To learn is the same as to teach. To serve one is to serve all. Rejoice in the power and unity of the one Creator. To teach, learn is the law of one. We are those of the Confederation who came to your planet 11,000 years ago. We came and were welcomed by the peoples who wished to serve. We have never left your vibration due to our responsibility to the changes in consciousness we had first caused. Pyramids are temples for initiation for people who want to help the planet. Ra is a humble messenger of the law of one. Rejoice in the glory and the peace of the one infinite Creator. Energized from the lower to the higher, the instrument does not fatigue. You are free agents of the law of one. Energy is intelligent and hierarchical. One can speak to that intelligence. If you have enough faith, you could say to a mountain, move, and it will move. If you have enough knowledge of the law of one, you would have enough knowledge to do these things. This is how the pyramids were built. Those who vibrate with the law of one seek the vibration of foreverness. The pyramids were constructed by thought. Confusion is the law of free will. Rejoice in the power of the one Creator.
Pyramids are a gateway to intelligent infinity. That is the design of their specific shape. Existence is multidimensional. There are those among your people at this time who are already one with the intelligent infinity. There are many types of healing, and each individual is to seek its own helpful form of healing. It is possible to be living the law of one without having an intellectual understanding of the law of one. Space-time is an illusion to find a pathway to the intelligent infinity. Be willing to be trained in thought, word, and action to practice healing. The mind must be known to itself. Consciousness is the microcosm of the law of one. To know thyself is the bulk of healing, love, wisdom, and the use of the body in its natural functions and contact with intelligent infinity. All is one, and that one is the infinite Creator. There is no imperfection. All is complete and whole and perfect. The healer acts as energizer or catalyst for this asking/receiving. This activity is equivalent to strenuous exercise on the physical level. The mind must be opened like a door. The key is silence. The hierarchy is like geometry bearing inner relationships. It is necessary to examine the self. Each thought has an antithesis. The being must synthesize all experienced polarities in the mind. Identify what you approve and disapprove of within yourself, then balance each and every positive and negative charge with its equal. The mind contains all things. Therefore, you must discover the completeness within yourself, accept the completeness within your consciousness. Each acceptance smooths distortions and judgments. The body is the creature of the mind's creation. Humans can develop their energy powers. The mind controls the body as an instrument. The spiritual body energy field is a pathway or channel. The spirit can be a communicator and opener of paranormal abilities from intelligent infinity. Some beings have an open gateway to intelligent infinity. You can purposefully and carefully open this channel. Life experience can be transformed. There are functions and uses of this gateway used for healing and miracles. In the ancient past, we were tall, golden, glowing beings from the planet Venus. We traveled by thought. From the sixth dimension, we were able to replicate ourselves in the third density. We were allowed this by the council that guards this planet from the eighth dimension on the planet Saturn. Beings from higher spheres have been incarnated into your densities starting 500,000 years ago. You are not all one race or background of beginning. However, the law of one states that all beings are one. The harvested entity moves along the line of light until the light grows too glaring, at which time the entity stops at the density most comfortable to them. One major cycle is approximately 25,000 of your years. Harvesting occurs after 3 of these cycles, that is approximately at 75,000 years. All are harvested regardless of their progress. In 30 years, the planet will have reached 4th density. We are currently in this transition period, and that is why this information is becoming available. We have walked among your people, and we remember sorrow and have seen much. We visited your peoples 18,000 of your years ago and did not land. Again, we visited 11,000 years ago. The present Venus population is no longer 6th density. I am one of the members of the Confederation of Planets in the service of the one infinite Creator. There are approximately 53 civilizations comprising approximately 500 planetary consciousnesses in this confederation. This confederation contains entities from your own planet who have achieved consciousness beyond the 3rd density. It is also containing planets within your solar system, as well as entities from other galaxies allied in service according to the law of one.
Okay. What did you think of that? That was the law of one. It sounds kind of almost a little bit biblical to me when I look at a lot of this stuff. Like from last week, we looked at the Anunnaki. This week, there's a lot of overlaps, I notice, in the two beliefs or thinking. Now, it looks like when I listen to this production, it's almost as if the person that's narrating this is saying that they're from this confederation and that we're going through an enlightenment. Well, it's kind of a little bit true. We, as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, if we were in the Jehovah's Witness religion, our minds were foggy and we were under the control of the religion. So next week we're going to look at how, or next on Tuesday, this is just a few days coming up, we're going to look at how they brainwashed us. And we're going to carry this forward and keep putting out stuff like this. This was interesting. What this reminded me of is some of the stuff we learn about in the Bible. Now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to change the scene here. I just wanted to see where everyone is. Sherry's doing her thing. Great job, Sherry. Jane just put my song suggested in YouTube. Good. We will do that. Okay, well, I don't see any new people online, so I'm going to carry on with the program. You guys all good to carry on a little bit longer? You have some time? I'm just going to move over to, there we go. My mic is on. My desktop audio's on. I don't think we're going to play any more shows, so okay. Okay, so here we go. I have a book here. I'm not going to show you the author of the book. What I'm going to read you is from a very famous author. Very famous. I trust this guy with my whole life. I trust this guy with my life. Here's what he wrote. Chapter 43, On Earth as It Is in Heaven. And he says, page 245. I'm not going to read the whole thing. He says, yes, friends, if you're doing it right, there will be difficulties, and that's how you know you've been tested with fire, preparing for what's ahead. The Bible teaches the bigger the blessings, the bigger the tests. Even with the best of us, we will all have weaknesses, for there is not one human that is better or worse than the other. And when we find balance on the inside, we will run smoothly on the outside. We will use less fuel and calories. You see, that's because our minds are not in hyper mode all the time. Fear, fear, fear. No more of that. We live now and we live with love. That's what Jesus taught us. Everything I see so far is saying love, 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 unity and love. That's everything out there. Now, this author goes on to say, yes, friends, if you're doing it right, there will be difficulties. Even with, there's my throat again, even with the best of us, we'll all have weaknesses. When we find balance on the inside, we'll run smoothly on the outside. We use less fuel or calories, dropping many pounds of excess weight from the previous years of imbalance. That's what we find happening. When I left the Jehovah's Witness organization, I met an elder in a grocery store 8 years later, and he didn't recognize me. And he said, wow. He said, I didn't recognize you because I shed a lot of pounds, just dropped the weight off. I just quit worrying. I quit worrying about Armageddon. But I had bouts of anger. That's what my good wife had to deal with. And thanks to her loving patience and directing me. But anyways, that's another story. We'll get her on the channel one day. Now, how do we know if something that we're doing is blessed by God or not? Jesus gave us the answer at Matthew 7:20. He says, thus by their fruits you would recognize them. So by our fruits. You see, that's how we know if what we're doing is blessed by God. It's our fruits. Like, it's the fruit on the tree. If the fruits are no good, you cut the tree down. You know, you do something different. And I don't know about you guys, but I was pounding at doors for a lot of years with the Watchtower. And even pioneering. And I was pulling my teeth. I couldn't get Bible studies. You know, I could get a lot of return visits. I could play stuff, but I could never get beyond, couldn't get into the Bible studies. Now, imagine for a moment that the earth is a ball of jello and all 7 billion of us stand on a little piece of it. Oh, I missed a part in the book. Sorry, let's go back. So what types of fruits do our fruits produce? So all great works in history start from a single thought. So this is what got me thinking about this. Everything starts from a single thought in our mind. And here's an example. When the Canadian Pacific Railway here in Canada needed to go from Alberta, where we live here in Alberta, to British Columbia, a Swiss engineer, there was none in Canada, of course, we had to go to Switzerland, but a Swiss engineer had an idea. In 1907, his thoughts were put into action on a project to create the first spiral tunnel through a mountain. And thoughts and ideas are the most powerful solutions to solving problems. So when we say that you can lift mountains with a thought, here's an example. So imagine for a moment that the earth is a ball of jello and all 7 billion of us stand on a little piece of it. And when we move, it affects all of those around us. What do we do at one end of the earth? Or what we do at one end of the earth is now felt by a ripple effect on the other side. If we throw out positive ripples, then positive energy is felt all around the earth, you see? We can only do so much. But then what we do is going to be imitated by others. And it's going to be. And I'm going to show you on Tuesday, and I don't want to give away all the secrets, but on Tuesday, this will be so clear. And it'll be so clear how we got sucked into the Watchtower. And you didn't get sucked in, it's just we imitated people. You and I. So we're going to look at this. It's amazing. So now, if we all around the earth, but it starts here with me. So if I start throwing out positive energy, live your life with love, then it spreads around, and then pretty soon we're all doing it because it's a normal thing to do. You see how that works? That's what Jesus was trying to get us to do anyways. So what if each of us imitate Jesus and eliminate judgments from our thoughts and minds? You see, so that's a tough one, the judgments. You know, we're always judging, we're always looking at people, we're always judging people. And lots of times we judge people from the outside. You know, maybe the Watchtower says, and I had elders say, well, God's not blessing you. You can't afford a new truck. God's not blessing you. See, some people think that way. But we got to eliminate these judgments, judging people. We got to just get rid of that. And that's where we have to scratch the record. And the more we learn about how we became judgmental, the more we learn about that, the more we can create a new record or a new path. You know, for instance, we love one another. There's no judgments with love. it's really hard to look at that person over there and say, judge them, but love them. It just doesn't work. So if I look at that person, I say, I really love how that person is so out there and gives their thoughts, or I really love how that person is so quiet, just stands back there and listens, but then when they say something, it really means something. You see, we can love things about people without looking at people or looking around. We get to know people from the inside. And I think that's what the author here is trying to tell us. I'm going to go on. He says, that would send out positive ripples throughout the earth, and you will have shared your thoughts about Jesus to many. You would talk about his way of love without judgments and how this has become a part of your life. What would happen if those around you started to imitate you as well? Well, then it would become contagious, and through friends, and these thoughts would just spread like a forest fire. And soon, like a virus, a critical mass of positive energy will envelop the earth. This herd mentality of positive thoughts will create cleaner air because everyone will be helping to protect the planet. And the people will be friendlier, and you will see love on their faces. That is how the earth is being transformed today. It starts with an image planted within each of our minds. And then when this image becomes fertile, it spreads throughout the whole earth. So I think that's all I'm going to read you. And then he says, what is your thoughts? So that's a book that's available. I put the link on the website to the book. It's a book on the website. So it's on this description here if you want to check it out. You can get it off Amazon. Now we're going to move on this channel to we covered the Kinsmen, we covered GG4 Watchtower Help Admin. We talked about that, the new video. Frank, thanks for all your hard work. And now we know it's Frank who's behind the scenes. At least that's what he's telling us to call him. So we'll be looking forward to that video from the Watchtower Help Club. Now, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. He has a number of videos already on his site. And we've watched most of them, I think, on our site already. So the next article is, Does God Exist? And I think we're going to save that for next week. It's an article within itself. We're going to make it a Watchtower Help Club. For next Saturday, we're going to cover this. And anything else that comes up around it. So talking about God, talking about Jesus, this has been an interesting journey for me. I hope it has been for you. And also on Tuesday, we're gonna carry on. We're gonna talk about our brains and how we got programmed. And Jessica Connor, thanks to Jessa, she's allowing us to run another one of her videos. And she's going to show us how we've been programmed. So don't miss that one. And we look forward to seeing you next week. So that brings us to 3:30. That gives us an hour for our program. I don't have much more prepared. Let's go back to the audience. And I'm going to see who's online. Mary777, thank you for joining us. Today, and I see there's some really good conversations going on there. I should almost run another video. Do you want me to run it? I could run another video if you guys want off of the channel. I watched the one on the Earth. I thought it was interesting. If you guys want, it kind of ties in with what we're talking about, this regency, the Galactic Federation. What do you think of this Galactic Federation anyways? And I didn't even change my thumbnail here. You notice that? My subject matter, I didn't even change that. We ran that last week, and this week I have the Galactic Federation. That should have been in there. There we go, it's done. So this is our topic for today, the Galactic Federation. What do you think? Do you think that that they're trying to reach down and talk to us? You guys think that's real? You know, put your comments in, let me know. You just never know. I think it's important to be open-minded. So far, I have no proof. I'm a good person that's been given some good advice on stuff is the Watchtower Help Club. There's some Rick Farron's channel, Scott, Jay. You know, those are two guys you could ask what they think. These are all suppositions. We're all everyone's making suppositions, mind you. These videos that we're watching from this this channel here, it's almost like they're saying that they are, and they're putting these channels. So I thought the way they're promoting this is that they're not going to care if we run this stuff. I tried to get a hold of her on her comments, and they don't really talk to you too much on there. So there is one other video I'm looking at. They did do one on God. I looked at that one, and it's kind of, you know, their take on Jehovah. They call it Yehu. I'll show you here, right here. So Yehu, Sherry would know more about that. The real name of God. So this is the Kinsmen Academy, and they show all these different names of God. You see there? So I'd be interested to get Sherry's take on that. She really knows that stuff. Now, the one I looked at, we looked at the Raw, we looked at the Galaxy. The other one I looked at was the New Earth, this higher dimension, and this Galactic. It's almost like Battlestar Galactica or Star Wars or one of those shows, you know, those programs where that's what this stuff appears to be like. But there's in the UFO community, it's a big community, and it's a strong community. We haven't even touched it because I don't know much about it, but it is its own sect. It's its own cult following, and you know, with all of today's technology, I think one of the subscribers asked or put his 2 bits in and said, you know, you would think there would be better pictures. You know, we have all these smartphones with 4K imaging and stuff like that, but all these pictures are sketchy. And then I see these Sasquatch pictures and they're sketchy. It's just like a picture pasted in the trees, and that's it. Well, I could have went up and put a stuffed monkey in the tree and then came back and took a picture of it. Like, some of this stuff is really sketchy. With all of the technology we have on Earth today, I would expect a little bit more proof. You know, I'm a bit of a skeptic now coming out of the Watchtower. I'm really skeptical, and I appreciate anybody on this channel that puts in their 2 bits. Tell us, you know, I don't care if it's skeptical or not. We're showing this stuff. This is out there. This is mainstream. It seems like it's going mainstream, some of this stuff. So we got to be aware of it, and is it just another sect? I often wonder, based on the Bible, like there's lots of biblical stuff in all of these stories. I think if we do the research, the biblical stuff comes from Samaria. All those stories just parallel over. And it's like the Hebrews took this stuff and just made their stories upon it and put the Bible together. But anyways, if you guys want, I can run this program a little longer. Who said yes? Did anybody say yes? No one said yes. So it's healthy to be a skeptic. Okay, yeah. Well, do you want to look at some more information? Why it's being published so hard? Yeah, it makes me wonder. Why is it being pushed so hard too? Mimi, yeah. And I think it was one of our subscribers that asked us to look at this. So let's look at this other one just to kill some more time. You guys do some visiting online, and if you want to drop off, you can. If you're going to drop off, we'll see you next time. Tuesday's a really good program coming up. Nike said yes. Okay, well, let's roll with it. Let's run another one of these videos. They want us to publish this stuff. No one, you can't get a hold of them. They only have a couple hundred subscribers. So let's run this one on the New Earth. Let's see what it's about here.
Communication is presently conceived telepathically.
Yeah. See if it's the same stuff. I'm going to turn the desktop back on.
Dolores Cannon's career as a hypnotherapist specializing in past life regression spanned almost 50 years and has taken her on an incredible journey through channeled information and planetary ascension. Dolores Cannon was the first American and the first foreigner to receive the Orpheus Award in Bulgaria for the highest advancement in the research of psychic phenomenon. Born in 1931 and died in the year 2014, she is the author of 17 non-fiction books and many transcripts, including Conversations with Nostradamus and They Walked with Jesus. She started teaching her own patented quantum healing hypnosis therapy technique in 2002. According to Dolores Cannon, the Earth is going through a period of transformation and a different Earth is being developed and created in a higher dimension. This Earth is called the New Earth. The higher dimension is known as the fifth dimension, and the shift is a gradual occurrence over many years. If humans want to shift to the higher dimension along with the Earth, then they must match the higher vibration of the New Earth. They must match the frequency of the New Earth in order to transcend along with it. In this new Earth, everyone's physical bodies will transform into light bodies, which will require no food or water, and it will never get sick or die. The light body will live forever off of light energy. The Earth will shift with or without the beings on it, which is why low vibration beings will be left behind on the old Earth. The best diet to help the body shift to the new Earth is a diet of light foods, fruits and vegetables, as there are negative spiritual effects of the farming and killing process of ingesting dead animals such as meat. Meat is considered to be dead food that is low vibrational and objectively is accelerating the environmental and vibrational destruction of the Earth. In speaking with the higher dimensional beings, also known as extraterrestrials or aliens, Dolores was advised that multiple galactic species are watching this transformation occur on the Earth at this time. Experiencing this shift of a whole planet ascending into a higher dimension at once is a rare occurrence and worthy of attention, guidance, and somewhat surveillance to ensure a smooth transition of as many beings as possible. Many are interested if the humanity on Earth will be able to shift along with the new Earth or not. Dolores was also informed that many higher dimensional beings are helping out with this transformation in many ways, as during this time of transformation we can do 3 additional things to help assist ourselves along with the new Earth. One of those things is letting go of karmic energies and karmic experiences as transmuting fear into love and forgiveness. Dolores encourages people to meditate to focus on the transformation of the world, which will in result actually create that reality to be experienced through contributing higher vibrations through the powers of our minds and conscious intent.
What I thought was interesting here was Jesus' baptism. You know how they're depicting the Romans are right there, and there's John, probably Jesus doing some baptism. John probably already did his thing, so Jesus is now down there baptizing. And what I find interesting about some of this stuff is that it looks like it's got India look to it, like a Hindi look, and yet it's biblical, like it's dealing with all this biblical stuff. There's this big overlap. It's very, very interesting, and I've never researched this before. We did one show a while ago on the Hindi, a little bit on some of the different religions, but really there's in this teaching here, what I see is they're pushing the love and unity a lot, just like we were, just like Jesus was. Well, here we go. Let's carry on with this.
Create that reality to be experienced through contributing higher vibrations through the powers of our minds and conscious intentions. The transformation of the Earth will occur through the thoughts and mind power of the humans. Similar sources advise that the whole multiverse will also be transforming along with the Earth. All beings will change, transform, and transcend into a completely different, immortal experience of the multiverse. Due to the transformation, all beings in all dimensions, whether they are in spirit form or physical bodies, will transform into incorporeal light beings. We will not require food or water or anything that the physical body needs. In this knowledge, it is advised not to eat any meat or eggs due to the negative effects on the soul. Higher dimensional beings that are helping assist with this transformation advise that we must transform ourselves, the earth, and the whole multiverse by learning supreme infinite knowledge, meditating, and connecting to our soul consciousness, which can utilize the manifestation of creation via affirmations and conscious intentions. Beings from the
Yeah, I wanted to say this before we get too far away, but they were talking about the food, where they're going to just be vegetarians. I guess McDonald's came out and a lot of the food chains came out with just these vegetarian burgers. It's like meat. Have you ever tried one? I think they came out in Canada here just before COVID. They're pushing them. And so I did. I tried them for a while. I had a heart attack, so my doctor said to quit eating meat. My doctor told me that. He said, you're eating too much meat and red meat and steaks and stuff like that. So it's really hard on us. My doctor told me that. So he said if I could to get onto some kind of a vegetarian diet. And so I did try those veggie burgers, and you can get used to them, but it's not the same. It is a really tough thing. I still eat meat. I'm doing more fish, but I'll still have a hamburger. I just had a hot dog, So, but it's hard to get off meat if you've tried to. It's a tough one. Looking for your comments there. I don't know. I'm sure it's healthier. My doctor says it is.
The whole multiverse include the souls from all of the infinite creations, some watching, waiting, and observing the transformation that is occurring on this planet. The authority in the Creator inside all creators and the Creator of all creators, including the multiverse. This is the source of all beings, universes, galaxies, and solar systems. Starting with this earth, the Almighty Authority will bring down power and supreme light to transform the multiverse. Within this supreme power, all souls will transcend. However, some souls will join or dissolve into their creators, and the rest will become immortal and live in the new multiverse. This will occur according to the origin of each soul and each being's ability to accept the supreme light and power that is needed to survive in the new multiverse. Aliens are simply higher dimensional beings that are playing huge roles in the transformation of the physical, psychological, and spiritual plane of existence. Transforming the self and reality will be the key to increasing the ascension of the plane of existence for all. After the original creation, the multiverse fell into a mortal existence instead of experiencing the original supreme immortality, which is all returning to the original light and powers of the supreme beginning right now. Dolores Cannon spent many years researching aliens, UFOs, and interdimensional beings. Much knowledge was received to her via communication with alien souls discovered during her quantum healing hypnosis sessions with clients. The alien souls would come through the clients while they were under hypnosis during sessions. The information passed on to Dolores was that aliens from other dimensions and planets have always been visiting and observing the Earth, telling Dolores that they come here to assist and help us, the humans, and the Earth. Dolores was told by the alien souls through her clients that the abductions reported are real and do occur. However, the person who has had this experience is actually an alien soul themselves, who has previously agreed to maintaining galactic alliances and communications. All alien interventions are done with a purpose and specific reason. Only the person who is embodied in human form has forgotten their purpose that they themselves have chosen before being born into this life. Unfortunately, therefore, people who have experienced such communications or interventions have been fearful and frightened of their experiences, as we have forgotten the original context and reason for these to occur. Often the fear and confusion is due to only a partial memory of the event and a misunderstanding of what has happened. The souls have advised that in reality what happened and what is remembered is a very different thing. It was conveyed to Dolores that abductions only ever occur for a logical purpose and with the consent of the original alien soul, even if the person themselves has forgotten their original galactic origin and purpose. These occasions of monitoring the body in the best interest of the human and their DNA, as the universe is governed by laws of non-interference and free will. Due to this, interdimensional beings are not permitted to violate the free will of humans and are not permitted to interfere in human lives. There are councils that manage and maintain these laws in the universe. Interdimensional beings cannot interfere from the outside, so their intentions to be of assistance to us often occurs by taking birth on planet Earth as a human. This is why there are alien souls who come from far-away star systems beyond our galaxy, who embody here as humans to help fellow humans. Many human souls forget who they are and where they have come from, as the density of our planet is so unenlightened that much knowledge, wisdom, and universal intelligence is lost to the density of suppression, ignorance, and forgetting the original divinity. All beings on Earth forget who they are and where they have come from. Such is the case that many of us will feel perhaps ultimately that Earth is not our home, or that perhaps we are indeed from another time or place of origin, or that we are not really at home amongst our people, peers, or family. Dolores was also told during these sessions that interdimensional beings have often come to Earth and appeared to humans as visitors to teach them many skills, such as the original passing of the skills and learning of agricultural methods. During this time, interdimensional beings were understood to be equivalent to highly ascended spiritual visitors. These are the spiritual stories mentioned in all religions and ancient scriptures. The stories of the scriptures are in fact accounts recorded of visitings of interdimensional beings as spiritual teachers. In all the different religions and traditions, these aliens are known as deities. Interdimensional beings no longer visit humans in such an explicit manner any longer due to the population and level of conscious awareness of humans currently inhabiting the Earth. Most human to interdimensional communication is presently conceived telepathically, in communion or via receiving thoughts that have been sent out into the broadband of the atmosphere by extraterrestrial origins. From this space of universal consciousness and the communication with humanity's consciousness, interdimensional beings are able to broadcast thoughts as information. After this has occurred, all transmissions of higher knowledge and information will be embodied by the human species and perceived as originating as their own. More than one person is able to receive this broadcasted information, and so the multiple receptions may take place in the idea appearing amongst different people all over the world. One way to match yourself to the frequency of the new Earth is to live already in the new Earth as much as possible. That is by living your life as if you are already in the new Earth, on the new Earth, and surrounded yourself with the new Earth, so that your current surroundings, both physically and externally and internally and online, match how you are living represents the beauty and the clarity of the new.
You are in the new Earth. I am here from another planet. I came in on my rocket, here to share this with you. You notice the blue, what it does to the screen, eh? Watch this. I take the blue off. And it just changes the whole image. Changes the image. So that was a little bit sorry for that delay there, but yeah, it a little bit monotone. Reading from a book or something. Here's my debate. Here's my biggest debate on this stuff. If we're to believe the Bible's real, right? That there's something, and everyone's kind of using the Bible. It seems like all these groups are using the Bible in their belief system. But if the Bible's real, Jesus said he's coming on a cloud. Does that mean he's going to ride? Like, how can everyone see Jesus all at once on a cloud? That's another mystery I have. So is it the internet? Is it the cloud? Is that the cloud? I don't know. It's every eye will see him. Are they gonna identify themselves through these little websites and stuff like that? These are questions I would have. So I'm looking for your guys' comments. I think it's fascinating material. I think if someone were to believe in this stuff, I don't think there's anything neurologically. I don't think it's going to harm you. Not like the Watchtower. Neurologically, it's very similar to being a Christian, a follower of Christ, where we know the Watchtower will disfellowship you if you worship Jesus. And we use that word worship, right? So we looked it up earlier on the program. So we covered a lot of material, and I think we can cover too much, but that's enough, for today, for our minds. Until next Saturday, we're probably going to look at the Watchtower Help Club unless anything else comes up. A lot of this information comes from you guys, the subscribers and the listeners, and I know this one on the Regency, that came from someone in the audience, and so we certainly looked at it. So now I'm going to play my outro, and we're going to close the program. So until next time, keep living your life with love. Bye for now.